Ever thought about what is the highest currency in the world today? Most likely you're thinking now about British pound, US dollar, or euro. Well, guess again. There are at least a few currencies with a higher value than these three. We've put together a list of the highest valued currencies in 2024 compared to the US dollar and euro. You'll be surprised to learn that being the most widely traded, USD is not even in the middle of a list but almost at the end of it. Created in 1961, its currency code is KWD and it is divided in 1,000 fils, smaller currency units. As of 2023, Kuwait dinar is one of the strongest performing currencies in the world against the US dollar in terms of value in the foreign exchange market. The dinar's value is dependent on the major global export of the country oil. Strict regulations concerning the flow in and out of the country has proved very valuable in stabilizing the currency as this policy controls speculation and volatility. The dinar, code BHD, is the currency of Bahrain. It is divided into 1,000 fils. The Bahraini dinar is abbreviated BD Latin. It is usually represented with 3 decimal places denoting the fils. Introduced in 1965, Bahraini dinar is the official currency of Bahrain and one of the most powerful currencies in the world due to the country's oil exports. The dinar is an extremely stable currency and an acceptable form of international trade. However, it is mostly used within the country only. On the exchange rate, BHD is considered as the second strongest currency in the world against the US dollar. The Omani Rial, code OMR, is the currency of Oman. It is divided into 1,000 besa. On the exchange rate, OMR is considered as the third strongest currency in the world against the US dollar. The currency derives its importance from the country being a successful oil exporter as well as the currency being pegged to the US dollar. It particularly holds importance in the forex trade market due to trade with Middle East and North African area, MENA. The Jordanian dinar, code JOD, and officially abbreviated as JD, has been the currency of Jordan since 1950. The dinar is divided into 100 kirsch, also called piastres, or 1,000 fulets. On the exchange rate, JOD is considered as the fourth strongest currency in the world against the US dollar. According to a report, the Jordanian dinar, along with the Israeli shekel, is commonly used in the West Bank as well by Palestinians. The currency has proven to be very stable, even managing to stay strong in the current global scenario, and so has become one of the strongest currencies in the world. Sterling, code GBP, is the currency of the United Kingdom and 9 of its associated territories. The pound is the main unit of sterling, and the word pound is also used to refer to the British currency generally, often qualified in international contexts as the British pound or the pound sterling. Occupying the prestigious age-long currency position going back to Anglo-Saxon times, the pound is one of the strongest currencies in the world. Its daily forex trade amounts to somewhere around $968 billion and even has a 5% reserve currency share in central banks across the world. While it is no longer the global reserve currency that it once was in the 19th century and first half of the 20th century, it is still the fourth most traded currency in the world and has a 12.8% share in the daily trades. The Cayman Islands dollar, currency code KID, is the currency of the Cayman Islands. It is abbreviated with the $dollar, or alternatively CI dollar to distinguish it from other dollar-denominated currencies. It is subdivided into 100 cents. The Cayman Islands dollar is the only Caribbean currency on the list of the highest ones. The reason is that this autonomous British territory is one of the world's best tax havens and one of the 5 largest offshore financial centers. The country provides licenses for hundreds of banks, hedge funds, and insurance companies. The Swiss franc, code CHF, is the currency and legal tender of Switzerland and Liechtenstein. It is also legal tender in the Italian exclave of Campione d'Italia, which is surrounded by Swiss territory. The Swiss National Bank, SNB, issues banknotes, and the Federal Mint, Swiss Mint, issues coins. The Swiss franc, holding a place in the world's foreign exchange reserves and ranked as number 8 in the most traded currencies, is the national currency for Switzerland as well as Liechtenstein. The most notable fact is the high value of the currency compared to the US dollar. The country has for long established a sense of fiscal responsibility and maintained a low debt rate. The country contains assets like gold reserves, and last but not the least, it is considered a safe haven and most stable currency in the world for many investors, especially amid war scenarios. The euro, code TUR, is the official currency of 20 of the 27 member states of the European Union. This group of states is officially known as the euro area, or more commonly, the eurozone. The euro is divided into 100 euro cents. The euro is the second largest reserve currency as well as the second most traded currency in the world after the United States dollar. As of December 2019, with more than 1.3 trillion euro in circulation, the euro has one of the highest combined values of banknotes and coins in circulation in the world. It is managed by the European Central Bank, ECB. Several countries peg their currencies to the euro. This mostly includes African countries who have established trade relations over the years by exporting to Europe and importing manufactured goods and hardware. The United States dollar, code USD, is the official currency of the United States and several other countries. The Coinage Act of 1792 introduced the US dollar at par with the Spanish silver dollar, divided it into 100 cents, and authorized the minting of coins denominated in dollars and cents. US banknotes are issued in the form of Federal Reserve notes, popularly called greenbacks due to their predominantly green color. The US dollar, or the USD, is the strongest currency in the world. The currency has universal recognition and is the most traded currency in the world. This developed mostly after the end of the Second World War, when US held about 50% of the global economic output, and therefore countries started using dollars to cut back on the transaction cost. The currency has shown stability and liquidity in face of financial distress. Some countries have pegged the values of their currencies to the US dollar. Canadian dollar, code CAD, is the currency of Canada. It is divided into 100 cents. Canada has the second largest uranium supply in the world, as well as large reserves of crude oil, 13.21%, second to Saudi Arabia and Venezuela. As one of the most widely forex-traded currency, 6th place for global trading, and accounting for about 5% of daily trades on global foreign exchange market, Canadian dollar occupies the 7th place in the world's most traded currencies and is also one of the strongest currencies in the world in 2024. With a robust revenue-generating export system comprising 75% of the country's exports in gold, lumber, agricultural products, and crude oil, with its southern neighbor, the currency is subject to fluctuations in these commodity prices. The Singapore dollar, code SGD, is the official currency of the Republic of Singapore. It is divided into 100 cents. As of 2022, the Singapore dollar is the 10th most traded currency in the world by value. Singapore dollar is the national currency of Singapore and is also used in Brunei. It makes up for nearly 1.8% of all forex trade daily. The Monetary Authority of Singapore issues banknotes in 6 denomination and backs the currency with various assets like gold, silver, and other assets held by the authority. The central bank's policy to keep the nominal exchange rate fixed has proved effective in keeping it very stable, and therefore, it is also one of the strongest currencies in the world. The Brunei Dollar, code BND, has been the currency of the Sultanate of Brunei since 1967. It is divided into 100 cent Malay or cents English. The Brunei Dollar is issued by the Brunei Darussalam Central Bank. Under a currency interchangeability agreement in 1967, the Brunei Dollar is interchangeable with the Singapore dollar at par. As such, the Brunei Dollar is accepted in Singapore as customary tender. Likewise, the Singapore dollar is accepted in Brunei. The Brunei dollar is directly pegged to the US dollar, meaning its value is fixed and it is determined by the value of the US dollar. The BND is widely used in Brunei, but outside of the country, its use is limited for the purpose of historical reference or as a collector's item. The Australian dollar, code AUD, is the official currency and legal tender of Australia, including all of its external territories, and 3 independent sovereign Pacific Island states, Kiribati, Nauru, and Tuvalu. AUD, the Australian dollar, is one of the most stable currencies, top G10 performer after the Canadian dollar in 2022. As of 2022, it is the 6th most traded currency in the foreign exchange market, and also the 7th most held reserve currency in global reserves. Reserve Bank of Australia manages the currency, and the high interest rates are an attractive selling point as well. Due to a high commodity linkage of the currency to export goods like gold, coal, and iron ores, changes in the price are bound to have an impact on currency value. The New Zealand dollar, code NZD, is the official currency and legal tender of New Zealand, the Cook Islands, Niue, the Ross Dependency, Tokelau, and a British territory, the Pitcairn Islands. The New Zealand dollar, NZD or Kiwi, introduced in 1967, is 10th among the world's most traded currencies. While once pegged to the US dollar, it now floats freely in the foreign exchange market and seems to have reached this place due to strong national GDP growth, high interest rates and political stability. Dairy prices, especially milk powder, and tourism numbers have been identified as two crucial factors that have an impact on the currency, since the country is a heavy exporter of the former and has a 6% contribution of the latter into GDP. Furthermore, due to a high yield, the Kiwi is also popular for carry trades. The manat, code AZN, is the currency of Azerbaijan. It is subdivided into 100 gapits. When Azerbaijan gained independence from the Soviet Union, it substituted the Soviet ruble with the manat, which also went through a period of high inflation in the first years, rendering the coinage obsolete. The current manat in circulation exists since the redenomination in 2006, when old manats, AZM, were substituted with lower face values and new design. The currency has mostly been pegged to the US dollar. The florin, code AWG, or Aruban guilder, is the currency of the Caribbean island nation of Aruba. The Aruban Central Bank, the Central Bank van Aruba, issues the florin, which is subdivided into 100 cents and also known as the Aruban guilder. The florin was introduced in 1986, replacing the Netherlands Antillean guilder at par. The florin is pegged to the US dollar, with $1 US dollar buying 1.79 Aruban florin. Aruba has a relatively high standard of living among Caribbean nations and a low rate of unemployment. The economy depends mainly on tourism, which is dominated by visitors from Venezuela and the United States. Oil processing, the primary industry before obtaining status apart, now plays a smaller economic role. Aruba also supports a healthy offshore banking industry and relatively minor agriculture and manufacturing sectors. The lev, code BGN, is the currency of Bulgaria. In Old Bulgarian, the word lev meant lion. The word lion in the modern language is lev. The lev is divided in 100 stadinki. Stadinka in Bulgarian means 100, and in fact is a translation of the French term centime. Grammatically, the word stadinka comes from the word sto, 100. The strongest sectors in the economy are energy, mining, metallurgy, machine building, agriculture, and tourism. Keeping the lev stable has proven to be an excellent move for Bulgaria. The stability of the currency saw the country through external financial crises, such as the Great Recession of 2009 and the banking collapse of the corporate commercial bank, Bulgaria's fourth largest bank, in 2014. The convertible mark, code BAM, is the currency of Bosnia and Herzegovina. It is divided into 100 fenig or fening and locally abbreviated KM. The Central Bank of Bosnia Herzegovina issues the banknotes with distinct designs for the constituent polities of the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina and the Republika Srpska, except for the largest denomination, i.e. the KM 200 note. Tourism and information technology services make up two of the country's largest export industries, although the country also has experience in certain specialty manufacturing sectors such as car seats and footwear products. The Fijian dollar, code FJD, has been the currency of Fiji since 1969 and was also the currency between 1867 and 1873. It is divided into 100 cents. The value of the FJD is ultimately supported by the strength of its economy. Fiji is a major tourist destination which hosts close to 1 million tourists each year. As such, the tourism sector is a significant contributor to Fijian gross domestic product (GDP) and employment. Outside of tourism, Fiji exports various specialty products such as bottled water, refined petroleum products, and gold. Its main export partners are the United States and Australia, who collectively purchase about 1/3 of all Fiji's products and services. The new Israeli shekel, code ILS, also known as simply the Israeli shekel, is the currency of Israel and is also used as a legal tender in the Palestinian territories of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. The new shekel is divided into 100 agarot. The new shekel has been in use since January 1, 1986, when it replaced the hyperinflated old shekel at a ratio of 1,001. The signing of free trade agreements helped the Israeli economy become more competitive, while heavy investment in its industrial and scientific base allowed the country to take advantage of opportunities associated with the rise of the global knowledge economy, thus greatly increasing exports and opening new markets for its products and services. Inflation has been relatively low, and the country now maintains a positive balance of payments. Consequently, its currency has strengthened, though less so than an exceptional rise in the euro and Swiss franc, contrasting the weakening in prior decades.